Nigeria Center for Disease Control confirms 604 new COVID-19 cases. Federal government may ask students to sit for the November General Certificate Examination (GCE) as replacement for WASC. In international news, the diplomatic tit-for-tat in China-US row over consulate closures. And in sport, IOC President promises close ties with Japan for 2021 Tokyo Olympics.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. The 604 COVID-19 cases confirmed on Thursday by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. The country now has a total of 38,948 infections. 21 states recorded new cases, with Lagos registering 203 new cases. Oyo State recorded 87 new infections, while 8 other states and the Federal Capital Territory recorded cases in double digits. Thus, consequential numbers were recorded by 11 states. NCDC also confirmed the discharge of 16,061 patients. Death toll stands at 833. Health Minister Osage Ehanire says all states and the Federal Capital Territory will each receive 100 million naira to boost their COVID-19 response efforts. It was announced during the daily PTF briefing on Thursday that the federal government has plans for students to sit for the November General Certificate examinations if the country does not meet up with the West African Secondary School Certificate examination timetable. Minister of State for Education Emeka Nwajubu said the shifts may become necessary since the WASC cannot be rescheduled for any reason. The federal government had earlier said no Nigerian school would participate in the August WASC examinations until the following month to ensure a reduction in the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. GCE is a private examination that is offered only in November. Results are made available in December. It appears the Niger Delta Development Commission may not be the only one facing scrutiny. Lawmakers say the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, should be ready to answer their questions concerning alleged mismanagement of 100 billion naira at the commission. House Minority Leader Ndudu Elumelu sponsored a motion to probe the commission during Thursday's plenary. Elumelu had accused the commission's managing director, Mohammed Goni Al-Kani, of awarding non-existent contracts. Elumelu alleged 100 billion naira given to the commission by the federal government has, quote, vanished into thin air without any visible impact on the refugees. He also claimed no infrastructure development was credited to the commission in the Northeast. Elumelu accused the managing director of high-handedness over inflation of contracts, awarding of non-existent contracts, massive contract splitting, and flagrant disregard for the procurement laws in the award of contracts. The probe is expected to be completed in 2 months. The Northeast Development Commission was established in 2017 to reconstruct states affected by insurgency in that region. Nigeria has established a rich creative industry with great potential and global footprint through film, music, and creative writing, but the country is yet to optimize its full potential in that industry. As the country seeks to diversify its economy, many believe it should look seriously at the creative industry that is believed to be a job creator and a revenue growth producer. Correspondent Kelechi Mekalam picks up that story.
Slap you, now, idiot! Mumu, come and get away from here!
I lay curse on you. By this time tomorrow, you will be paralyzed forever.
Okay, yeah.
Mark Angel, a Nigerian actor and producer, is known for his short comedy films. He has spent the past decade producing skits and other family-friendly videos for his online community. a community that has grown to 6.3 million YouTube subscribers and 11 million Facebook followers.
The creative industry in Nigeria has really evolved, especially with the advent of internet and POD, pay on demand services. The industry makes more money, is more productive now. There's more value right now in the creative industry, and a lot of people, there are more stakeholders getting involved in creation of content in the country right now. So it's growing. Although we have challenges, but we have come to a point where we can call ourselves an industry.
Nigeria's creative industry has been gaining traction since the early 2000s. According to audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, it's estimated to be worth $3.8 billion. The knowledge-based economy encompasses music, movies, arts and craft, information technology, among others. But industry observers say government support for the sector has been limited.
Sometimes we have ideas, but we don't have the resources to put those ideas through. Because if we have the kind of resources that some of our colleagues outside have, if you know the kind of people that will be coming here, in fact, you will now see that Nigerians will be featuring in most Hollywood movies. But we don't have resources. The government is not even answering us.
We cannot reap from where we do not sow. The sector needs support, needs investment. We know that this is a sector that can drive innovation, and then for innovation to really strive, for new business ideas to flow, for greater or good ideas around businesses and economy to really flourish, then you need to create an enabling environment for it to strive. What are the policy guidelines to ensure that this sector survives or strives? What are the concrete frameworks on ground to ensure that the resources, the potential of this sector is harnessed?
Now the central bank says all of that is about to change, just as the country explores options to diversify its oil-dependent economy. The creative industry is seen as another viable sector alongside agriculture and mining. So the central bank is renewing plans to support creative ventures with an initial funding of about $65 million.
Coming up, African stories. Uganda records first COVID-19 death. And later, international news. Diplomatic tit-for-tat in China-US row over consulate closures.
You are watching ANN.
Hey, tell them. They told me you are the best around here.
What can I do for you, sir?
I want my own very, very simple. I don't want any shine. If I see any shine.
Actually, I'd love some sequins on my skirt. And I don't like any frills.
I beg, I want frills on mine. But it must not be too tight.
Tight! That tight now, that is what I want. And the transition.
Oh, you know what? I want a gown.
Me too. I want to come to
You know what GMS are doing?
Hey, did you capture all the information?
Of course not.
Actually,
fantastic.
I give my customers what they love because everyone has their unique style. So why should they wear the same thing? Just like MTN for me, which gives unique data and recharge offers just the way you like it. Just dial *121# and turn up great offers every day.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Uganda has recorded its first coronavirus death. A tweet from the country's health ministry says a 34-year-old female resident died of COVID-19-like symptoms of fever, dry cough, headache, and difficulty in breathing. The woman, who was part of the support staff at the health center, was buried on Thursday. The health ministry says 30 persons who may have had contact with the woman have been quarantined. Authorities are also tracing others who had interacted with her. Uganda began a phased easing of lockdown restrictions in May. On Wednesday, it allowed traders in one of the most congested areas of the capital, Kampala, to reopen their shops. The country has recorded nearly 1,100 cases of coronavirus. World Health Organization representative in Uganda, Dr. Jonas Tegen Ward-Merriam, said at a media briefing, the death does not indicate that Uganda should reinstate total lockdown. That will be dictated by various issues, including the number of infections and the capacity of health facilities to handle them. The coronavirus pandemic has decimated the tourism industry in many countries. Hotel guests have ceased or reduced to a trickle. Museum visits and souvenir sales have all but evaporated, and the situation is not any different in Tanzania, where the government is working to boost tourism recovery from the devastating effects of coronavirus. Correspondent Daniel Kijo reports.
Seacliff Hotel and Resorts is one of the leading employers in the tourism and hospitality industry in Tanzania. Being one of the first 5-star hotels in Tanzania, it has employed hundreds of Tanzanians in its chains of resorts and hotels across the country. But travel bans caused by COVID-19 had most of its operations at a standstill. The Tanzanian government's call to open its skies and announce the reopening of the tourism sector has revived its services and business.
And since 3 weeks, it's completely different. The situation changed, the guests come back, and we start to operate again.
The tourism sector contributes $2 billion in the country annually, accounting for 25% of all exchange earnings. The government is looking to encourage foreign tourists and business visitors to fly into Tanzania. It recently launched a new tourism campaign aimed at aggressively marketing Tanzania as an East African leader in tourism.
We developed the new tourism destination brand, Tanzania Unforgettable, an undertaking that was meant to rebrand the sector and remind people on the existence of this must-see remarkable destination.
According to the Tourism Ministry, the average stay for tourists in Tanzania jumped from 10 days in 2015 to 13 in 2019. It puts this down to the expansion of activities available to visitors. Seacliff Management says the industry has to be creative and find ways to motivate tourists to stay longer and spend more.
And we offer a lot of discount, promotion, all inclusive in a very attractive price. We are here to serve our guests and to give them the luxury that we have from the past at the right price now.
The Tourism Ministry has introduced standard operating procedures, which are safety measures in line with the World Health Organization requirements to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. It is still asking tourists and locals to frequently wash hands, use face masks, practice social distancing, and to report any possible coronavirus symptoms. Tanzania was in the top 10 African countries for tourism growth in 2019. Around 2 million tourists visited the country, bringing in billions of dollars that the government wants to see more of. Now, it's hoped that the safety measures put in place will allow the sector to keep growing.
Many African countries have embraced the cashless policy, especially in these coronavirus times, during which experts say handling cash would definitely increase the spread of the virus. But taxi motorcyclists in Kigali, Rwanda, have been asking riders to pay cash. Why? Rwandan television news correspondent Sam Kalisa has the answer.
Cashless payment systems has been a consecutive recommendation from different cabinet meetings as a way of preventing the spread of coronavirus. Some buyers and sellers have been hesitant about the implementation of this recommendation. Traders and motor riders were said to be frontliners in breaking this rule. They tell us charges are too high, so they advise us to pay before, so that by the time we end the journey, you can go without regulators noticing that you paid cash.
Cashless payments are very good, but many people do not care about it.
some people decide to go with cash at hand, ignoring the advice of using cashless means, which can help combat the spread of COVID-19. The huge consequence is that you might get infected or infect someone. On the side of motor riders, withdrawal charges is the main reason as to why they don't adapt to cashless payment systems. We can't purchase anything, not even oil. Don't you think it's a problem? But when passengers are paying us, they do not include withdrawal charges. When you use the pay code, you might spend a day without getting the payment notification. We would like to request MTN not to charge us, but we rather receive the total amount as the passenger sent it. Transferring money from MomoPay to mobile money account includes some charges. I even went to pay transport fee on Ritco and they asked me to withdraw the money. The Rwanda Utilities and Regulatory Authority RURA says refusal to adapt to cashless payment systems is charged as tax evasion and a role in the spread of coronavirus. Engineer Deo Muvunyi, the senior manager in charge of transport licensing in the Rwanda Utilities and Regulatory Authority RURA, says strong punishments will be taken to those who will be caught red-handed. We're requesting them to use taximeters, Momo payments, Airtel money, Visa cards and any other cashless means because it is beneficial to all of us. To those who love themselves and Rwandans at large, they should understand that there is no loss in this. Currently, there are more than 25,000 motorcyclists in Kigali. Only 15,000 of those have got taximeters and the others are yet to receive them. Sam Kalisa, Rwanda Television News.
When we return, international news. Diplomatic tit-for-tat in China-US row over consulates closures. And later, sports. IOC president promises close ties with Japan for 2021 Tokyo Olympics.
You are watching ANN.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. As expected, a tit-for-tat diplomatic row has ensued between China and the United States after the U.S. ordered China to shut down its consulate general in Texas earlier last week. In retaliation, China has now ordered the United States to close its consulate general in Chengdu. The tit-for-tat consulate closures are yet another twist in deteriorating relations between Washington and Beijing. It even looks as the gravest one yet.
China says it has informed the U.S. to close its consulate general in the southwestern city of Chengdu. This move is in response to Washington's abrupt shutting down of the Chinese consulate general in Houston this week. Beijing had condemned the U.S. move, calling it a political provocation which violates international law and the bilateral consular agreement. The U.S. Consulate General in Chengdu was established in 1985. It has over 100 staff members. It mainly services Sichuan, Yunnan and Guizhou provinces, as well as the Tibet Autonomous Region.
The race into space rivalry between the U.S. and China has continued as the latter launched a rover to Mars on Thursday, just as the U.S. deployed a similar mission into space. The United Arab Emirates also joined the race as it sent a probe on Monday that will orbit Mars until once it reaches the red planet. And correspondent Wulei reports from Beijing.
Blasting off, the fourth Long March 5 rocket made history, sending China's first Mars probe into the Earth-Mars transfer orbit. This is the first time the Long March 5 carrier rocket is put into practical use after 3 experimental launches.
6年前我们就预定了今天这个时刻， We scheduled this moment 6 years ago, and we have been fighting for it for that long. We've achieved such a good result. The entire research and development team has fought for this achievement, and this will lay a solid foundation for the probe's final procedure, which is circling and landing.
China's first Mars mission is called Tianwen-1, Quest for Heavenly Truth. The probe consists of not only an orbiter but also a lander and a rover, a trifecta no other nation has accomplished on its first Mars mission.
Our goal is to get the full picture of Mars by collecting various kinds of data and images. After the launch, the probe is expected to land, patrol, and explore the planet in May next year. In the last stage, the rover will detect the material composition of the surface of Mars.
There are 13 different payloads on the Chinese Mars probe, including 7 on the orbiter and 6 on the lander.
These payloads are to study the Martian atmosphere, weather, geological structure, and so on.
Many global space agencies and organizations have also participated in China's Mars mission.
So we are on the rover, so scientific from France are in the rover, in the spectrometer. China offers great opportunity, and we offer them some expertise in niche domains or in other fields, and is very much complementary. So we are very, very much satisfied.
And also we are willing to explore the magnetosphere and its interaction with the solar wind on Mars.
The China National Space Administration says Tianwen-1 opens a new chapter in the country's interplanetary missions. China plans to carry out a Mars sampling and return mission around 2030 and continue to study the Martian environment.
Thousands of workers took to the streets near Madrid on Thursday, protesting against job losses at Airbus, the French airplane manufacturer. Airbus plans to cut 15,000 jobs globally, 1,600 in Spain. The company has lost business as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns around the world that have all but erased air travel. Correspondent Rahul Pathak has the story.
Now, this demonstration is taking place in Getafe, which is around 15 kilometers south of Madrid, and it follows an announcement by Airbus that they will be laying off around 1,600 jobs right across Spain, over half of those job losses coming from this plant in Getafe. It's all part of a restructuring plan by Airbus, which could see up to 15,000 jobs go worldwide. The company saying these redundancies are necessary to cope with the drop in activity due to the pandemic. But that's little comfort, not just to the workers losing their jobs, but the thousands of people in this city that are directly affected by these redundancies in Getafe.
It will be a critical situation, socially and economically. In this factory, they have around 6,000 workers. So if we lost just 500, the economic impact for Getafe would be huge, because that could also indirectly result in other people losing their jobs at subcontracting companies in this area.
Of course we are worried, because we know what's going on in the world. With all the new outbreaks happening, we have to take precautions and take care, but we must not be afraid. Plus, all Airbus workers and their colleagues that came here to work are strictly meeting all the sanitary procedures.
These job losses come just a few months after car manufacturer Nissan announced that they would be closing their plant in Barcelona, resulting in 3,000 redundancies. The Spanish government of Pedro Sanchez not only having to deal with the COVID-19 health crisis, which has seen around 28,000 people lose their lives, but the fallout to the manufacturing sector as well.
Up next, sports. IOC President promises close ties with Japan for 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Please stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. In sports, President of the International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, says the IOC will work closely with Japan in preparing for the delayed 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games to ensure the safety of all participants.
The IOC executive board and the entire IOC is following the principle we have established already before the postponement of the Tokyo Olympic Games, that the first priority is about the safety of all participants of the Olympic Games.
That is any news this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Have a safe weekend.